Charlie Foxtrot, calling DX10 meters.
Sierra 6, Kilo Bravo Sugar.
Was that Kilo Sierra 6, Kilo Bravo Sugar? If it was, very good afternoon to you. If not, please correct me, sir. But my name is Mark. That's Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo. And I'm just 15 miles southeast of the city of London. So back to you. Possible Kilo Sierra 6, Kilo Bravo Sierra. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot.
Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, Zulu, Kilo Bravo Sugar. The name is Purpose on this side, and good afternoon, Mark from South Africa, just south of Johannesburg. The call sign again, Zulu Sugar 6, Kilo Bravo Sugar. Roger, roger.
Yeah, very good afternoon to you, and thanks for the confirmation. You're not in the USA, and you are actually in South Africa. Absolutely fantastic. Got you just 5 and 3, but with QSB downwards. 5 and 3 with QSB downwards, Cobus. And yeah, I'm using just a 5/8 wave vertical antenna, so it's not probably you know, the best for sucking in the signal or even giving out the signal, but it's what I've got. But yeah, we got you in the book as 5 and 3, and thanks for the correction on the call sign. I think more so it was an assumption that you was a Kilo Sierra, and I didn't really recognise the call sign, which is what made me unsure. But we've got you now. Ramble over, back to you. Zulu Sierra 6, Kilo Bravo Sugar. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, Mark in the southeast of England.
Having a look on your QRZ page. Like I say, I enjoy your profile picture race bike. With a race bike, the QSL, do you still do that? And yeah, you still have 55 QSL.
Yeah, thanks for the 55. Yeah, that was me on that bike. It was a race bike. It was actually a drag bike, you know, standing start quarter mile. It was built specifically for that. Fantastic in a straight line. Did not go around corners very well, as you can imagine. But no, I don't race anymore. That bike, what I sold probably 10 years ago now, but it made a good QSL card picture, which is why I still use it. And yeah, that's the story. So no, not on motorcycles anymore. Not that I wouldn't get on one, it's just that I have no need for one at the moment. Although I would maybe like an old classic from my younger days to put in the garage and just mess about with. But that's a story for another day. Today, Cobus, I'm using a 5/8 wave vertical, as I said, 100 watts from the back of the radio, and the radio's the very common IC-7300 by Icom. That's the story, sir. Back to you. ZS6 KBS M0 JCF.
Goes around corners pretty well, but no, everything fine. Likewise on this side, just on a TH3 element of Derby. There's a little bit of QSC, but not a problem. At least we can have a nice conversation here and have a quick chin wag. I do also have a 550 there, I'm also very much a Kiwi guy, enjoy using it. So yeah, a little bit of a overcast day here. Kilo JCF, 36 Kilo Bravo Sugar.
Yeah, ZS6 Kilo Bravo Sugar M0 JCF returning to you. The CBR 1000 is a super fine bike. I've owned the CBR 600 and I got that one some years ago and I had it very, very briefly. It was sold to me cheap and I sold it expensive. So I made some money out of that one. But no, the drag bike was homegrown. It was a GSXR 1100 Suzuki. It was a 1990 L model. And it was lowered, it was lengthened, and had a turbocharger fitted. And that gave me about 340 brake horsepower. So I'm quite a big man, and back then when I was racing, I could do 0 to 154 miles an hour in about 9.4 seconds. There was a lot more in the bike. It was definitely an 8-second bike, but I just didn't have the family jewels to keep that throttle nailed right at the beginning, and that's where you win or lose a drag race, right at the beginning. So yeah, I had good fun on it, and you know, over the years, Cobus, I've raced a lot of motorcycles. I've done road racing on Yamahas, both production and open class, and before that I've done speedway on an old Jawa 500cc single on the short track, flat track. So you know, I've had a lot of racing experience, but I no longer ride on the road these days. I had a big accident some years ago, about 20 years ago, and I broke 2 ribs and a collarbone, and I just decided that the roads in England are just too dangerous. So that's the story, Cobus. Back to you, ZS6 KBS M0 JCF.
I'm still at the carburetor 600 and yeah, it was like a limited edition with a colour. And racing carburetor 6 and the rider to and I used to enjoy that little one. Quite a lot too. Yeah, no, like you say, it does make a difference when that Christmas tree goes green. But anyway, no. A little bit up and down there, but I could get the whole lot of message from your side there on the previous round. But anyway, welcome,
Yeah, ZS6 KBS M0 JCF, ZS6 KBS M0 JCF. Cobus, I've lost you now. You dropped down to about a 3 and 1. I was using a lot of signal processing. I was using the preamp on this radio, and I was using the noise reduction, IF noise reduction, and I had you nice and clear for the best part of that, and then you gradually dropped down to about a 3 and 1, and then I think you were handing it back to me, and pretty much you dropped off the cliff. So I'm not sure on the last 15 seconds of that over what you said. So I'll tell you what I'll do now is I'll wish you very best 73, Cobus. Great to hear you. You're my first contact today, and it's great to hear South Africa coming into the United Kingdom. Find me again, Cobus. We'll talk motorcycles again in the near future, I'm sure, or even in the distant future. We'll talk about motorcycles then. But until then, can I say 73 to the whole family and everyone around you near Johannesburg, and look forward to the next time. Listening for a final, and if I don't hear you, apologies if I appear to talk over you. So best 73, old chap, and good luck. Zulu Sierra 6 Kilo Bravo Sierra. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot listening.
for Cobra ZS6.
Yeah, the station wanting Cobra ZS6. If you could QSY with him, be very much appreciated. Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Cobra. Somebody else wants you. If you could QSY with him, be much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you to the UK station.
Okay, CQDX, 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 CQDX on 10. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, CQDX, CQDX, CQDX on 10. CQDX, CQDX, CQDX10, CQDX, 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 CQDX10, CQDX, 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 CQDX10, CQDX, CQDX, CQDX on 10. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, 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 CQDX, CQDX on 10.
CQ Mark, this is Charlie Tango 3, Papa
Yes, Tango Charlie 3, Tango, start again, Charlie Tango 3 station. Please go ahead, please give him a call to see if he's still on frequency.
Thank you, Mark. I don't think you heard me. And thank you, Mark. You 592 Madeira Island, and this side is Tony. Cobra 06, 06 KBS. I don't know if you heard me. You can go up 3 to 526. So I'd like to talk to you on there. So that's 28526. You can still listen to this. Mark, thank you for being so kind. Mike Dealer JCX, CTP, South Hotel. Bye-bye.
No problem, mate, and you're 5 and 3 in the southeast of England. I hope you catch Cobus and you have a good chat with him. Good luck, old son.
Okay, thanks so much, Mark.
CQ, CQ, CQDX, 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 CQDX on 10. Here is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, Mike 0 Juliet 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, CQDX, CQDX, CQDX on 10. CQDX, CQDX, CQDX10, CQDX, 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 CQDX 10 meters. Here is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, 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 CQDX10.
Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, this is November 3 Alpha Tango Quebec Mobile. November 3 Alpha Tango Quebec Mobile, USL.
Yeah, November 3 Alpha Tango Quebec, a mobile station. Very good afternoon to you. Several stations called in, and believe it or not, you was the strongest. But my name is Mark. That's Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, and I'm in the southeast of England, about 15 miles southeast of the city of London, and I'll give you a report on the next over. So November 3 Alpha Tango Quebec, Scott in Pennsylvania. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot.
Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, November 3 Alpha Tango Quebec Mobile QSL Mark. Thanks for coming back to my call. You 5 and 5 and 5 into Pennsylvania. You have the name correct, Scott. QSL over.
Yeah, no problem, Scott. Well, thanks a lot for the 5 and 5. You're 5 and 3 to me. 5 and 3. I'm using a 5/8 wave, a vertical antenna. The base of it is just over the gutter of my 2-story house, so that gives you an idea of its elevation, its height. I'm using an IC-7300, and I'm using just 100 watts from the radio. So tell me, Scott, what's your setup in your mobile setup? Back to you.
Roger, Mark, running here at Yaesu, Fox Tango 891, 100 watts to a Tar Heel, mobile screwdriver antenna whip, QSL.
Yeah, no problem. Well, the 891 with 100 watts into a screwdriver whip. The only one I know of those is the ATAS. I think it's the ATAS 120. That's the only screwdriver whip I know. But you know, it's working incredibly well. Tell me, Scott, are you near your home QTH, or are you a fair distance from it? Back to you.
Roger, I'm in Allentown. I'm actually at my home CQDX in my parking lot. Right now in Allentown, Pennsylvania. We're about 50 miles north of Philadelphia, QSL.
Yeah, no problems. Well, I'll tell you what, that setup, Scott, it's doing incredibly well. You're now peaking about 5 and 7. So there is QSB on the signal. So you're peaking 5 and 7, and you're dropping as low as 5 and 1. But you know, it's fairly consistent around the 5 and 3 to 5 and 5 mark. Well, it's a beautiful day here, Scott. I hope it is where you are. We've had about 15, maybe 16 degrees Celsius today. So in the low 60s Fahrenheit. It's been beautiful blue skies all day long. We had a little bit of rain yesterday, but today it's a great autumn day, and I hope it is where you are. N3 ATQ M0 JCF.
Roger, Mark N3 ATQ mobile. Fortunately here the weather is cloudy with rain. Temperature now not too bad. Temperature 72 degrees Fahrenheit. But cloudy with rain today, QSL.
Yeah, no problems. Well, winter's coming, Scott, and I'm sure that where you live, unless you're quite close to the coast, I'm sure you're going to have lots of snow soon. So it looks like the weather's on the change. We've passed the equinox now, so the nights are getting longer, and the days are definitely getting shorter. I'm not a big fan of the winter. If I had the time, and my wife had the had the wherewithal, we'd probably spend most of winter in somewhere like Florida. So I'm just curious, Scott, do you ever travel south for the winter? Back to you.
Roger. Well, we do stay here during the winter, but we do go from time to Florida. It's very inexpensive. Only about $65, $70 for an air flight to Florida, so we do go from time to time. And we have friends down there we visit.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. Well, my last time in Florida, Scott, was 2023. It was October 2023, just my wife and myself, and we was at Clearwater and Madeira beaches down there on the Mexican Gulf Coast. So we was having a lot of fun there. Many years we've gone to Florida with our daughters as well, but you know, they've all grown up now and they go to Florida on their own. So yeah, we don't have to take them, and you can imagine 3 women, it got very, very expensive with me. But I've also got friends in Florida, in the Orlando area, and we quite often drop in to see them as well. But as I say, last time was 2023, so we're overdue a visit. Back to you.
It's great that we love it in Clearwater. The ragchews is training basis for the Phillies of baseball team, American baseball. The Philadelphia Phillies, their training camp is in Clearwater.
Yeah, Clearwater, well, anywhere from the nature coast right the way down to Naples is my favourite stretch of coastline. Having said that, the Atlantic coast is also very nice. I've spent some time around Cocoa Beach and down into Fort Lauderdale, around that area. So, you know, I think I prefer the Gulf Coast though. I think I tend to go there more often. Well, anyway, this is a fantastic contact, Scott. Great to get you mobile. It's always a pleasure when you work someone using, you know, slightly less equipment than the average American. You know, they've all got huge, great towers with 5/5/5 stacked arrays, that sort of thing, and 1.5 kilowatts. But it's great to speak to a mobile station using an older radio, an old FT891 with 100 watts and that screwdriver working really well. But I know other people were calling in with you, Scott, so you know, I'm gonna just see if anyone else would like a report. It's quite possible now that they've moved on or QSB has taken them. They were well below your signal, but you've had a great signal. Say quite often picking up around the 5 and 6, 5 and 7 mark, and readable, absolutely perfect readability throughout. So no doubt you'll get some more UK stations if you sniff around a bit. But can I wish you and your family very best 73. If I don't speak to you beforehand, have a fantastic Christmas. Try not to get too cold, too wet. And hopefully the mobile operation will pick you up in a slightly different area and I can give you a different report. But until then, Scott, I'll hand over to you for a final and I'll be listening. But the pleasure was all mine today. November 3, Alpha Tango Queen. This is Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot.
Mike 0, 173, have a great day, my friend. Cheerio. Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Fox, runway 3. Alpha Tango Queen.
I tell you what, I think it was a good time to drop off. You dropped down to a 4 and 1. The propagation knew it, Scott. It knew we were going. You take care, good luck and thank you. QRZ, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie Fox. Okay, several stations called, and I believe they were US stations, but both very, very weak. It was very difficult to hear an individual call sign. So apologies if I don't get you in the logbook today. There's there's always slightly later on, or even another day. But I am listening. I'm just using a 5/8 wave vertical antenna. It doesn't receive as good as it transmits. But let's see who's out there, and we'll try to pick one of the call signs up. QRZ, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot. Okay, the station ending Ocean. The station ending Ocean, your modulation wasn't perfect. It was a little bit rough, but let's sort that out. The station ending Ocean, if you could go again, please. I think I heard ZB3, Zulu Echo Ocean. Was that Zulu Bravo 3, Zulu Echo Ocean? I don't recognise the prefix. Go ahead.
United Bravo 3, Zulu Echo Ocean. United Bravo 3, Zulu Echo Ocean. Roger, Rapid Flight 9, Belgrade over.
Okay, United Bravo 2, Zulu Echo Ocean, I believe that was. Thank you for the 5 and 9. You are 5 and 7, but your readability is maybe readability 4. So you're 4 and 7. Your readability is almost like too loud into the microphone, or maybe too close to the microphone. So Uniform Bravo 2, Zulu Echo Ocean. This is Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. The name is Mark. That's Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo. and I am just 20 kilometres southeast from the City of London. So go ahead, sir.
Roger, Mike. Roger. Victor. Victor, сделал хорошо.
Your name, Anatoly, QSL? Okay, not hearing you now. Okay, listen, sir, thank you for calling me. I appreciate that. Maybe another day we'll get everything correct. Today my ear's not working so well for you, but thank you for contacting me. I do appreciate it, and I will listen for you again in the future. 73, and I say spasiba and das badania. Baka baka. Right, QRZ, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, southeast of England. Nothing is heard. CQDX. Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot. Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, CQDX10. Okay, I think there was a Kilo Quebec. I may be mistaken, but your report at this time just 1 and 1. Your report at this time just 1 and 1, old chap. Very, very weak to me. I'm using a 5/8 wave vertical antenna, just 100 watts, and the radio is IC-7300. But on your call in, far too weak for me to hear the call sign. I will listen one more time for you. Apologies if I talk over you and I don't hear you another day. But I do appreciate the effort. I think the Kilo Queen station, this is Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot. Okay, apologies, old man, cannot hear you. Absolutely nothing was heard on that last over. So if I'm talking over you, apologies for that. CQDX 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, CQDX 10 meters.
Sierra Victor 1, Tango Juliet, November.
Yeah, Sierra Victor 1, Tango Juliet, November. Very good afternoon to you, old man. Thank you for calling me. My name is Mark. That's Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, and I'm in the southeast of England, about 20 kilometres southeast from the City of London. I believe we worked before, Janice. I believe we worked before, very, very recently. I need to check QRZ. Yes, we have. We worked on the 22nd. So very good afternoon, and thank you for calling me again. Sierra Victor 1, Tango Juliet November, Janice. This is Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot.
Roger, hello Mark, hello. 5 report signal, 59, very nice, no problem. Roger, QSL?
Yeah, QSL Giannis, thank you for the 5 and 9. Your signal is a true 5 and 3. You are 5 and 3 on my antenna, Janice. I'm using a 5/8 wave vertical antenna, same as last time. And my radio also the same, IC-7300 by ICOM, and I'm running just 100 watts. So that's the story, Janice. Back to you, SV1 TJN M0 JCF.
Roger, Mark. Transceiver Yaesu FT 991 Alpha. Vertical antenna. QSL?
Yeah, no problem, Janice. 991 Alpha, a very superb radio by Yaesu. I know many people are using them in the United Kingdom. Well, Janice, a nice day here. We have blue skies, we have lots of sunshine, but a little bit cold, not like Greece. It's cold here, Janice. We have just about 15 degrees Celsius, so a little bit cold, not like Greece weather. Back to you.
Roger, Roger, Mark, Roger. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Bye-bye, 73. Good luck, DX.
Yeah, no problem, Janice. It's great speaking to you again. Always say hello to me. Come and say hello, Mark, next time you switch on your radio. Good luck, 73, and bye-bye, old friend.
Roger, Mike, Zulu, Charlie Foxtrot, and Sierra Victor 1, Tango Juliet November. Bye-bye, 73.
73, old chap. Good luck. Take care. QRZ, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, southeast of England.
Mike 0, Juliet, Foxtrot, question mark, Radio Lima 2 Golf, continue.
Yeah, Radio Lima 2 Golf. Radio Lima 2 Golf. This is Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot. My call sign, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot. Back to you, Victor.
Okay, Radio Lima 2 Golf. Mark, good evening, Mark. I'm very glad to see you now.
Yeah, no problem, Victor. Thank you for the report. Your report 53. Your report 5 and 3. I'm using a vertical antenna, Victor. A vertical antenna, 5/8 wave. I'm using 100 watts and my radio ICOM IC-7300. Back to you, Victor.
Okay, Mark. Thank you very much. I'm using this homemade amplifier, about 300 watts, with dipole area. So, Mark, I'm very glad to see you. First, best and good luck for you. And Mike for you.
Yeah, no problem, Victor. Nice to speak to you today, and your homebrew linear amplifier, 300 watts into your dipole, working very well today. Well, I've worked you many times, Victor. I can see on my log that we have worked in the years 2024 and we worked in January of 2025. So this is number 4, Victor. This is number 4. So I wish you and your family very best, 73. I say good luck, take care, and hope to speak to you again in the near future. And das bedanya, spasiba and baka baka. Yeah, thank you for that, Victor. Take care, good luck, and until the next time. QRZ, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, looking for DX on 10 meters. Nothing is heard. CQ, 0, Juliet, Charlie, Fox, calling DX on 10.
November India 1 Quebec.
November India, number 1 Quebec, very loud. Thank you for calling me today. My name is Mark, Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, and I'm about 15 miles southeast of the city of London. Let's find out who you are, and then I'll give you a report on the next over. November India 1 Quebec. This is Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot.
Charlie Foxtrot, November India 1 Quebec, returning. Very fine business. Name here, family. Echo Mike India Lima Yankee. And you are 5 and 9 into Connecticut. 5 and 9 into my QTH, which is Trumbull, Connecticut, about 75 kilometers northeast of the city of New York.
And I know Kent quite well. Spent a lot of time in England, so nice to make your acquaintance for the first time.
Yeah, NI1QM0JCF returning. Well, Emily, can't forget that name, can I? Because it's my eldest daughter's name, and she now lives in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. She's living and working out there for a while. We don't know how long, but she's 29 years old, so it could be for a long time, knowing the youngsters of these days and the sunshine. But yeah, you're coming into me 5 and 5 peak, Emily. You're dropping down to about 5 and 1. You say you were very loud on the call-in. You've got a superb audio for DX work, no problem with that whatsoever. Today I'm using an IC-7300. I'm using 100 watts from the back of the radio, and my antenna is a 5/8 wave vertical. It's an old silver rod CB antenna that I've reconfigured very slightly for 10 meters, and it receives nowhere near as good as it transmits, but we've still got you in the log anyway. NI1Q M0JCF.
M0JCF and November India 1 Quebec returning. So fine business, Mark, and my conditions here are I have a Flex 8400 that I just bought for real cheap. Guy had it for 2 weeks, didn't like it, and put it on for a price that I couldn't resist. But my other rig is an Icom 7610, which I have loved for 4 years now. It's just a fabulous, fabulous radio. And I'm feeding all of that into a 2-element Yagi. It's actually a British antenna called Innov antennas, and they make a 5-bander, 2 elements on each band. So that's what I use for everything above 20 meters. And your vertical is doing great. What a wonderful signal for a vertical. It's just awesome. So very fine business, and it's really good to make your acquaintance for the first time, Mark. I'll spot you and let you make some more contact. But thank you very much for being here today. Mike 0, Julius Charlie Foxtrot, November India 1 Quebec.
Yeah, November India 1 Quebec, M0JCF with that final. You know what, Emily, it was very interesting to speak to you today, and thanks for the compliments on the vertical. Well, I know it's got a good takeoff angle towards the horizon. The main lobe goes to the horizon, so that probably works in my favour. It just doesn't seem to receive as well the DX signals. But you know, you can't have everything, and I'm just pleased that it works well enough. And as I tell a lot of people, I'm quite happy with the readability report. That's what's important to me. If I can hear you, then we can have a conversation. It doesn't matter about the signal, and I find that is the case with many East Coast USA stations. They always tend to be a few S points down on my signal, and it doesn't matter what power they're using. But you know, the 2-element Yagi is doing the job, and obviously it's pushing more power in my direction than my antenna. My antenna's going 360 degrees, of course. But the Flex 8400 sounding good, and yeah, the IC-7610, I know a few people using those. Of course, they're the big brother to my IC-7300. And now that the IC-7300 Mark II has now been announced and probably on the market, it looks like the bottom will probably fall out of the market of 7300s and 7610s. I think it's probably closer to the 7610. It's probably what the IC-7300 Mark I should have been. I don't know. But anyway, I'm rambling now to say goodbye. So yeah, I'll get off. I'll try to make some more contacts, and I'll speak to you again in the near future, I'm sure. You'll always find me running my mouth off on 10 meters and 12 meters. So good luck, Emily. Nice to make your acquaintance. And until the next time, 73. November India 1 Queen. This is Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Fox. 73, old chap.
Okay, very good, Mark. And I agree with what you said about the Icom rigs. I think there will be a 7610 Mark II before too long. That would seem to be a logical progression for ICOM. 73, my friends, cheers and beers, and God save the Queen.
Yeah, well, we've got a king now, haven't we? But thank you for the sentiment. Yeah, we got King Charles now. Poor old Queenie passed away just a few years ago. But as I say, I do like the sentiment. It's not often somebody will say that, and it's very nice to hear. Take care, good luck. QRZ, Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Fox, southeast of England.
Alpha 5 Romeo.
Yeah, Alpha 5 Romeo, no problem hearing you. I don't know what the signal strength was, but readability was up there in the 5s. And if there was a number higher, I'm sure you'd be there as well. My name is Mark, that's Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, and I'm 15 miles southeast of the city of London in the county of Kent. So let's find out who you are, where you are, and I'll get you in the logbook. Alpha 5 Romeo, this is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot.
Got my business, Mark. M0 Charlie. Let's get it right here. Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. This is Alpha 5 Romeo. Solid copy, Mark. You're 5 and 5. 5 and 5 here is right now, but there's QSB, so that's just what it is right now. The name is D-Roy, Delta Echo Romeo Oscar Yankee, D-Roy, and I'm in Austin, Texas, the capital city of Texas, Austin, Texas, and in 2 weeks, we'll be in the center of the world for the Formula One racing, the U.S. Grand Prix. We'll be here in Austin in just a couple of weeks. So, anyway, good to hear you over there this afternoon. M0 JCF, this is AA5R, over.
Yeah, AA5R, M0 JCF returning. D-Roy, Austin, Texas. Well, you're my furthest west contact so far on this F2 opening, since the opening started just about a week ago, just before the equinox, about 2 days before the equinox. I started hearing North America coming into the European area, and yeah, you're 5 and 5 peak to me as well. But Austin, Texas, I believe you're probably my first contact from Austin. I've worked many stations out of Texas. In fact, there's one who's quite regular, name of Jim, but I can't remember his call sign off the top of my head. But yeah, 5 and 5, no problem. I'm using a 5/8 wave vertical antenna, D-Roy. I'm using just 100 watts from the radio, and that radio is the very ubiquitous, very common IC-7300 by ICOM. And D-Roy, would I be correct in saying that you're not logged in QRZ? It's not a problem, but when I put you into QRZ, it come up as unknown. It may be you've just never opened up an account on it, but that's not a problem. I can still add you to it. Back to you, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, I should be coming up in QRZ. Let me see. Alpha 5 Romeo. Yeah, it works for me. So I don't know. Did you get my call right? Did you get my call right, Mark? Over.
No, I've got it now, but I bolted early, D-Roy. I bolted early. I think I had a glitch on my internet connection, because I checked one of the other tabs that I've got open, and it had a blank page with I'm using a Unix computer at the moment, and it had the little dinosaur there to show there was no internet connection. And when I refreshed the page, bang, there you were. Not a problem. It just saved me looking up things like locators, that sort of thing. But yeah, there you go. So we've got you in QRZ. That's not a problem. That was my end. But just wondering what the setup is there, your technical setup. Back to you, D-Roy, in Austin, Texas, who is on QRZ.
Oh, good. had me worried. You had me worried, Mark. Yep, 0JCF from AA5R. Okay, well, glad you got it fixed. All these computers are problems. I use Windows, Linux, and all the Apple stuff, the iPad, the iOS stuff, and all of them, you know. Anyway, everything goes wrong for me because either I'm not connected to the internet or something or other all the time. World would be a lot better if we had everything in common interfaces, you know, where everything works the same way all the time, but it doesn't. Well, I'm glad you got that ground plane or that vertical rotated around this way. Back in April, our QST magazine is published by the American Radio Relay League. In the April edition, they always have an April Fool joke article, but they don't tell you which one. And this year, for 2025, the joke was a construction article on how to build a directional vertical antenna that you could rotate, and the idea was to have a regular vertical single element antenna, but to put it inside a cylinder that had a slot in it, and so then you'd rotate the slot around to have the opening, you know, facing in the direction that you wanted to direct the signal. And it was a very detailed article with lots of test results and everything. I kind of wonder if anybody got fooled enough to build the directional vertical antenna, but anyway, yours is working great over here with the 100 watts. I'm running 1500 with the antenna that you see on the QRZ page, Mark. AA5R is over here, and so M0JCF. This is AA5R.
Yeah, AA5R M0JCF. Yeah, it looks like you got a log periodic there to me, unless that's some weird multi-band antenna, but I could be wrong. I could read the words, couldn't I? Yeah, it is a log periodic. Absolutely fantastic. Well, it's working well enough. Your signal's fairly consistent as well, which is great. I mean, this is probably a double hop, possibly a triple hop. No, I'd say a double hop to you there in Austin. But yeah, do you know what? I like your story about the antenna, the vertical antenna. Some of the Facebook group radio forums that I'm on, there's been a lot of discussions on, you know, the 5/8 wave and the half wave verticals, and comparisons, good, bad and ugly, about both of them. And do you know what? I think I'm going to use your story. I think I'm going to put that out. I could wait until next April, but like a little kid, I think I want to put that story out. I want to get that one out there. I want to propose it. I mean, there will be people that will immediately debunk it. There'll be people that will be all over it, like white on rice. And then, of course, there'll be those that will think that I've gone totally mad. But what the hell? Let's give it a go and start building one. But I would imagine that there could be, in a real world situation, you could have that vertical and possibly put a parabolic reflector behind it, but it'd have to be some distance behind it. Of course, it'd have to be probably a half wavelength or more behind it. I don't know. I'm not a big antenna man, D-Roy. I'm very, very lazy when it comes to antennas. I've got the vertical, I've got a long wire, I've got a collinear for 2 meters 70 centimeters, and until recently I had a 9-element LFA for 2 meters, but I just wasn't using it, so I took it down last November and I was going to build a Moxon 2-element beam to put on the rotator. And you know what, we're up to the middle of September of nearly a year later, and I still haven't built that Moxon. So that's how lazy I am, and I know it would give me good advantage, especially for instance talking to you and pushing my signal in your direction rather than 360 degrees. But there you go, I'm just a lazy man, D-Roy. And I'm also lazy because I retired nearly 3 years ago, and before that, you say about all of the different computer systems, OSs you're using. Yeah, I was a Unix administrator in my final job, and it didn't really interest me. As I say, I'm using a Linux computer now for my login, etc., just because it was convenient. It's just one that I had, so that's what I'm using at the moment. So that's the story, D-Roy. AA5R M0 JCF.
Oh, yep, 0 JCF from AA5R Supermark. Well, we've got a fella up in New England called Andy, and Andy's got a Linux distribution that he's installed all the common ham radio programs into this distribution of Linux that has Andy's Ham Radio Linux. If you've got a Raspberry Pi or an old computer that you're looking to put to some use, you might look to Andy's Ham Radio Linux and install that on some old computer, and it'll have all the function programs, propagation programs and stuff, you know, already installed, ready to use. Really simplifies things a lot to do that. Yeah, well, I would think the 5/8 wave is probably easily demonstrates better than being a quarter wave because, you know, it gets the takeoff angle better for DX, I would think. So I guess that's how that discussion went. But, oh yeah, this thing, yeah, it's a long periodic like you found, and so it's 2 or 3 elements probably on the band, but it was easy to put up, and anyway, I'm real happy with this antenna. Well, let's see, I forgot what else. Oh, being lazy. I can identify with that, I sure can. And I'm sure that Moxon's going to work great once you get around to getting it up and, you know, fixing it up. Several of the guys here use Moxons on 6 meters, and they do a whole lot better than I do on 6 meters. So I think that'll work great for you. You know, though, some of these antennas are just too directional, and so you miss contacts that are off the side that you'd like to know were on the air. So good idea to have multiple antennas for each band. One that's real directional to get the most signal out there, and another one that's kind of your spotter antenna so that you don't miss stations that you're not pointing to. M0JCF, this is AA5R.
Yeah, Alpha Alpha 5 Romeo Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot returning. Well, do you know what the whole idea, D-Roy, was to keep the vertical up. All the while that 10 meters is open for F2 propagation for the next couple of years. I'm keeping the vertical up. And as you say, the idea is to spot with the vertical and then swing the Moxon until I get maximum reading on the meter. And, you know, it gives me the option of then swapping between the two. Although, you know, it doesn't really matter, does it? Once it refracts through the ionosphere, you know, polarization becomes almost circular. So it doesn't really matter by the time it reaches the antenna. So, yeah, the idea is as well, in a few years, when 10 meters meters closes, apart from sporadic E, I do have a multi-band tracked vertical. It's a Diamond CP6. I bought it from someone probably 5 years ago now. It's still in the box. I haven't removed it from the box because the 10-meter band antenna works so well for me. And as you say, the takeoff angle is great on it. The receive angle seems to be a lot worse, but the takeoff angle is very good. So, you know, I just haven't put the multi-bander up. But when we don't have 10 or 12 meters anymore, apart from sporadic E, I'll probably take the vertical down and then put the multi-band up, because all I have for bands below 15 meters is I've got a random long wire. It's about 90 feet long, and it's inverted U. Now it does work very well on 40, 80 and 160 and even 60 meters, which we can use. It works well, but of course it's quite a big compromise. You know, it's not resonant anywhere, and it's got a 9-to-1 unan on it, so it's just an all-round antenna. The reason the long wire is there is because since 1974, when I built my first crystal set and started shortwave listening, I've always had a long wire up. Wherever I've lived, I've always put a long wire up. So consequently, I put a long wire up when I moved into this house 23 years ago, and just using it for receiving, maybe a bit of piracy. And then when I got my license in 2017, I got my foundation license, which is equivalent to your tech license in the US. I had the antenna already up, so the 9-to-1 unan went on it, and being lazy, that's what I was using. But yeah, the old CB antenna works well. Well, I'll give you some whiskey X-ray if you're interested. We've had a beautiful day here, blue skies. I would imagine nothing like Texas. We've had lots of blue skies, but the temperature's been quite cool. It's been about 15 degrees Celsius, which is in the low 60s, I think. I would say low 60s, high 50s Fahrenheit, which of course for people in England, that's quite normal. That's quite warm, you know. But it's been a beautiful day today, so just wondering what sort of weather you've got down there, because the only weather I've ever seen out of Texas is when I used to watch Dallas back in the 80s, you know, with Larry Hagman and crew, and it was always sunny then. It was always sunny, it was always beautiful, glorious sunshine. So just wondering if that's the truth, or if you've got something different to tell me. And as for the software on Linux, yeah, do you know what? I've got a full suite of software on this, but I made a note, and I will check out the software you were talking about as well. It may be better, it may be the same, it may be worse. We can only try. Back to you, AA5R M0 JCF.
M0 JCF from AA5R. Well, first part on the weather. It's about 24.6 degrees over here. I don't know what that is Fahrenheit. My thermometer here reads in Celsius, 24.6. Bright sun, a few clouds on the perimeter. Yesterday we had an overcast day and a few sprinkles of rain, but during the summer months, you know, it gets unbearably hot over here. You know, 100 degrees Fahrenheit or so, 40 degrees Celsius, but fortunately it's starting to cool off a little bit, you know, now as we get into fall. And about the antennas, one thing, I've had some of the ham fests around here, you'll run into people that are selling and trading antennas in the box that have never been opened, you know. They bought them, and like you were saying, you know, you just never get around to putting it up. And so they sell brand new antennas sometimes at the flea markets, at the ham fest. But yeah, being vertical sounds like a good idea, particularly for some DX, you know, after we lose 10 and 12. But another thing you might look into is either building or buying a hex beam. The hex beam is kind of the best of both worlds. I mean, it's not so directional that you don't hear people off to the side, but yet it is directional to where you put in a stronger signal and can hear better in the direction you're pointing at. So, you know, they're lightweight, and so you don't have to have anything big to hold them up, and the rotator can be a very inexpensive rotator. I had a hex beam for several years before putting up this antenna, and it was just wonderful. It's just an ice and windstorm destroyed mine, and so I ended up putting this antenna up instead. But in a lot of ways, I like the hex beam better because you know, it wasn't as directional as this, which was an advantage, I think. So anyway, think about a hex beam if you can. And the long wire, the wire antennas, yeah, for 40 meters and below can really work well. If you read on my site, that's what I'm using is for 30 meters down to 80 meters. I've got a wire up that's about 58 meters long, or 190 feet really. And use that with the tenor. I just cover all bands with this, and real happy. I hate to cut this short, but I'm going to have to leave because it's time. I've got an appointment for lunch. Got some guys that I eat lunch with on Thursdays. So I've got to go, and wish you a good evening over there. And oh, I forgot to tell you, I've got an MGB Roadster, and it's wonderful to drive around in Texas. It's you know, it's sunny and warm, even in the winter here, to drive an MG Roadster around. I've got it souped up a little bit with some HF6 SU carburetors, and the suspension's been lowered, and so it's just a whole lot of fun to drive it around. It's kind of a baby blue color, and I have a lot of fun when I go driving in my MG Roadster, Mark. I don't know if you ever had an MG, but I think you probably either have had one or have ridden in one for sure. 73. It's been great talking with you. MC Road JCF. This is AA5R. 73. Bye-bye. QRT, pulling the switch and all that.
Yeah, thanks for that, D-Roy, and AA5RM0JCF with a final. Just answering a few points. Hex beam, no, I can't have a hex beam up. I'll be hanging from it by the station manager, I'm sure you know. The closest I've been to Texas is Arizona, and yeah, scorching hot. Florida, scorching hot, but with humidity, and California, just hot, but with a breeze off the Pacific. And MGs, yeah, I've never had the MG, but I had its cousin. I had an Austin Healey Sprite back in the day. It was a project car, and after a while, you know, get fed up, moved it on. But you go and have that lunch, you enjoy yourself. Look forward to working you again. A fantastic contact from Austin, Texas. Very consistent signal from you, D-Roy, and an absolute pleasure to have those conversations with you. We'll hope to do it again in the near future. Always find me on 10 and 12 while we've got the propagation. Otherwise, no doubt it will be 20 and 17 in the future. Good luck, bye-bye, and enjoy yourself. AA5RM0JCF 73, good luck. Da-de-da. QRZ, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, southeast of England.
Norway 8, Echo Hotel, Papa, that is Norway 8, Echo Hotel, Papa.
Yeah, Norway 8 Echo Hotel Papa. Very good afternoon to you, sir. And on your call-in, you were a 5 and 4. You were a 5 and 4. My name is Mark. That's Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, and I'm in the southeast of England, about 15 miles southeast of the city of London. So I take it your name is David, according to QRZ. So let's find out who you are, where you are, and what you've been up to today, and then I'll give you some technical details my end. Norway 8 Echo Hotel Papa. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot.
Well, hello to you, Mark. And yes, you have my correct. And you have found me on QRZ. There used to be, once upon a time, a bio there, some information. Oh, probably 25 to 30 years ago, when I used to use a computer for amateur radio. Don't do that any longer. The computer now is being used for music, mostly on YouTube, and current news around the state of Michigan, and a little bit of world news. Anyhow, don't have much time for the old computer. Spend about 12 hours a day on amateur radio. then when we can, we try to squeeze hours of music. So between those two hobbies, music and amateur radio, doesn't leave a whole time for surfing the old internet. So computers in the room completely disconnected, because using a half a kilowatt here, I'm afraid I may damage the computer. Back years ago, at 100 watts, the keyboard was locked up, the mouse would freeze, not all the time, but it made it clear that the computer was very sensitive to RF. I'm using a 3-element Yankee, vertically polarized, just like you're vertical, you're 5/8. I'm also vertical. This vertical is about 6 meters above ground. White space Yankee, almost a 12-foot boom. I think that's something like 4 meters metric. Not sure anymore. Anyhow, Mark, there's pretty much a rundown. About a half a kilowatt draw the Yankee. You and I have the same rig. Have you discovered how much better signals sound if you go in there and turn the bass and treble all the way down, turn the bass and treble all the way to the left on receive, radio X-ray receive adjustment for bass and treble, you turn the bass and treble all the way to the left, and use a cheap pair of headphones, 7300, that signals sound a million times better. It gets rid of that horrible, high-pitched sound that these things have right on the box. So Mark, the reason I know about your vertical, your rig, even your name, no computer here, but I've been listening here for almost an hour, waiting for your signal to improve, waiting for propagation to favor you here to Detroit. So yeah, are you aware of that adjustment on the 7300 that really makes a huge difference? With a pair of cheap headphones, Mike 0, Japan Charlie Foxtrot, Delta London, from Darwin, extra horsepower in Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah, November 8, Echo Hotel Papa, David, Detroit, Michigan, M0 JCF, southeast of England, Mark, returning. Well, thanks for all of the information there, David. Yeah, unfortunately, before I retired, I couldn't get away from computers. I was a server engineer and a Unix administrator, so I had it pretty much attached to my hip. It was very difficult not to use computers, and I've got a small Linux computer in front of me now that really I only use for logging on the internet. I don't really use it for much else, but Yeah, when I'm not on the radio, I suppose I do spend quite a chunk of time on the radio, and other times, I'm out and about with my wife or my daughters, or doing something for somebody somewhere. So it's quite a balancing act. As for the radio settings, I haven't really delved a lot into the settings. I've got the radio set up pretty much how I like it, and I don't tend to mess with the settings too much. On the fly, I will use like noise blanket, I will use notch, I will use the noise reduction, which is very good on this radio. Sometimes I'll use the preamplifier and the RF gain in conjunction, to reduce the noise floor, that sort of thing. I'm very lucky on 10 meters. My noise floor is pretty much zero. 12 meters is the same. I do have local QR Mexico on 12 meters after about 4 p.m. in the afternoon. But I tend to operate on 12 before that. It's only about S3, but of course it can interfere with weak signals. And the 5/8 wave vertical, I find it works very well on transmit, not so good on the receive. But you say you've got a 3-element vertical. That's quite an unusual configuration for DX work, because obviously it doesn't really matter, does it, whether it's vertical or horizontal, because it becomes circular polarized as it goes around the world. And the settings I've got in my radio were mainly taken from a book. It's called The Radio Today Guide to the ICOM IC-7300 by Andrew Barron, and he's a zebra loot. Right, I'll start again. He's a Zulu Lima 3 Delta whiskey, so he's a New Zealand ham, and he's written this book. And do you know what? It's very concise. It's much better than the ICOM manual itself. And I got a lot of my settings and ideas from this book, and as I've set it up over the last few years, I found that it works for me. But it's very interesting what you say about going into the receive settings. I'd have to go into them again and just check, the EQ, just to see how my bass treble, etc., is set up. And I do agree, though, that, for DX work, it's really, you need more mid-range and treble than you do bass. And I hear so many stations, especially European stations, that use lots of signal processing through a mixing desk, a broadcast type mixing desk. Now, I have one of those because I used to run an internet radio show, and you could get some fantastic sound from it. But of course, the internet is huge bandwidth, so it worked well, but I would never use that mixing desk on my amateur radio gear. We've got 2.7 kilohertz bandwidth, and you just cannot have that sort of bass response, etc., transmitted. But you hear some of these stations and they sound great if you're talking to somebody a few miles down the road, but for DX work I find them terrible. But there might just be my ears as well, and maybe I'm just a bit too critical. So that's the story, David. Back to you. November 8, Echo Hotel Papa. This is Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Fox.
Well, Mark, it's because you have a real good ear. You have excellent hearing. And anyone with excellent hearing is total agreement that these guys that spend all this money to improve their audio really isn't helping much. I understand to some of those guys, you kind of sound like you're down in a shower. 2 days ago, a fellow described these guys as sound like you're talking to a toilet paper tube. You got good hearing, great hearing, Mark. You can hear how horrible it sounds. And yes, absolutely yes. If they're 20 over 9, 30 over 9, right down the street from you, it sounds pretty good. Yes, sounds really good. But in the real world, all the noise, all the fading, oh my God, they all sound bad, real bad. Well, I'm kind of surprised here, Bert. Many times I've gone into the receive bass in treble and have found just shutting a bass off all the way to the left, treble all the way to the left, eliminates this horrible sound the 7300 has in the receiver, real high pitch, hard to listen to kind of a sound. But I just checked it. We're on this subject of adjusting bass and treble for the receive, and I went in there and I adjusted it for all the noise right now. A lot of noise. By the way, you're in a real noisy frequency. Up at 2605, that's crystal clear. But this frequency here is over with splatter. People right next to this frequency. This is a really bad frequency for holding a conversation. People are shooting up about 600 these days now that 10 is wide open. I call CQDX10m IC-7300. You know, thinking nobody's going to find me up there, but they do. Anyhow, almost an hour ago, I almost gave you a call, and I was going to ask you to follow me up to 605 to get out of this mess here, but your signal kept dropping off, and I already knew there's this pattern on 10 meters between the UK and here in Michigan, where right about this time, actually anywhere from like 40 minutes ago to right now, the signals usually pick up pretty good. I'm out here every day, so I've seen this happen day after day. So I thought, okay, your signal's dropping quite a bit. I'll just keep hanging there and waiting. And sure enough, about a half an hour ago, your signal really started coming up. Anyhow, for this frequency, and for you, I find I have the receive bass at a -3, so I have a little bit of bass. And I have a treble up to a -1. So, have you played with these filters, Mark? I mean, the guy has this book, I'm sure he led you to the filters. While listening to you and deal with the noise on this crowded frequency, I went to my filter too, and I tried sharp and narrow. No, sharp and soft. Sharp and soft. So this frequency has splatter, signals are like great, a little bit of interference from the side, and I made some adjustments here with the filter. I pretty much use filter 2 all the time. I have filter 1 set for as wide as you can get it, and I have filter 3 set fairly narrow, but filter 2 is the one I always play with. You know, if I'm going to touch it, punch things up, and I'm finding filter 2 for this frequency in the interference, 2.4, and sharp. Is bringing out your best sound. But getting to the headphones, this rig only produces about 1/4 of a watt, and headphones make a huge difference. I mean, so night and day difference, it's unbelievable. Basically because this rig has no audio output power at all. And on headphones, wow, this rig sounds like $1 million, Mark. You definitely pointed out all the adjustments, so I'm sure everything I'm talking about, filters, bass treble, all this, you're aware of this. But how about the headphones? You didn't make any comment on the headphones. Mike 0, Japan Charlie Foxtrot, somewhere near London, England from Norway 8, extra horsepower, somewhere in the northeast corner of Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah, November 8, Echo Hotel Papa, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. Yeah, I do like your descriptions of where we are. It's fantastic. You know, there was several points I was going to make there about how long you were listening to me. You know what, I was talking for a long time to D-Roy in Austin, Texas, and he was also an equally fantastic signal, very consistent like yours is now. And I do notice as we get towards our evening, and I suppose as the grey line starts to pass over us, then you know, like I noticed that the noise drops off from the east, as you would expect, and the signals pick up from the west and over the North Pole. So yeah, but sort of 6 p.m. It's like time to go down and sit with my wife for a while, have dinner, etc. So you know, I don't get to play a lot of radio early evening. It tends to be late afternoon for me. I looked at my filter. On filter 2, I've now got you set to filter 2. I had you on 1, and on filter 2 I had it set to 2.4K, and I had it on soft 0. Maybe I had it just up slightly. I may have just changed that as I pressed the button, but I got it on 2.4 soft. When I check filter 3, I'm on 1.8, and on filter 1 I'm on 2.89, I think that is. No, I've just moved while I'm talking to you. I'm multitasking and I've just changed the settings, but they're all pretty much on soft, so it's not a problem though. I do sometimes mess about with the IF filters, but they're all set to soft at the moment. I may try and alter those. The third point that you made, the reason I'm on this frequency is now normally I would sit between 28,400, 28,500, but it gets very, very crowded there, especially with Europeans, Middle East and Russians. A lot of Russians like to sit above 500 as well. I like to go down to 28,360 upwards, but there your tech licenses, I don't think they can use that area. Likewise, above 500, the reason I don't often go above 500 is tech licenses from the USA. They're limited, aren't they, to the band between 28.4 and 28.5, and I like to give everyone a chance to hear me. If I'm CQing, I like to maximise my chance of getting a return. But if the band is very noisy, then I do sometimes venture, I say, a lot higher. I have been known to sit right up in the 28,700s, 28,800s before now. Now, my 10 metres, personally, is very, very quiet for me in areas. When I look at the band scope on the IC-7300, I can see bands where there are people's television sets, there are phone chargers and laptop chargers, games console power supplies. You can see them, and so what I tend to do is I will find an area that's very dark on the band scope. It doesn't matter when you go across these areas that have got bands of noise, nothing comes up on the signal meter. It's it's still quiet, but you can hear it with your ears. So I just found a place today. 523 was very dark on the band scope. It was very quiet to my ears. And the other thing, sometimes it works in my favour, sometimes it doesn't. But the other thing I do is I pick an odd number like 523, because human nature, people like to go in round figures. So 520 will always have someone on it. 525 will always have someone on it. And so I pick 523, which is for my upper sideband signal, I probably won't interfere with 525. And of course, I sometimes hear someone on 520. If I do, I just narrow down the filter. If not, if I can't do that, then I will move to another frequency. But as an experiment, if you would like to go, I think you said 620 was clear for you. We can QSY to 620 and give that an experiment if you like. November 8, Echo Hotel Papa. This is Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Fox.
get back down here, Okay, we're absolutely going to have to move to 28.605. There's somebody here in the States that's got a massive pile of from Europe up on 525. Can we move up to 605? Are you okay with that, Mark? 28.605, over?
Yeah, 28605. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, that's where we'll QSY to, and then we'll carry on from there, David. That's absolutely no problems. Of course, if I get there and I find someone's on the frequency, we'll say 610. If you can't hear me there, we'll move to 610. I will only move if that frequency is in use, but just so that I don't lose you, I'll go to 610. As I say, I can't hear the station on 525. He's not interfering with me at all. So yeah, we'll QSY 28605. So Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot will now QSY 28605 with November 8 Echo Hotel Papa, and this frequency is clear for use. This frequency is clear for use. QSY.
This here frequency in use is the frequency in use.
And from my side, is this frequency in use, please? M0JCF with N8EHP. Nothing heard my side, David. November 8 Echo Hotel Papa. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot.
This band has been absolutely on fire for 6 days straight. And all the activity drops off around 28.590. Here's the state. The activity drops off around 28.590, 580. And there's always one or two signals up here around 620, maybe 2650. I've been using this quite a bit in the last 4 or 5 days, and this frequency's been very, very quiet. The technician class here in the States, they only get half the band. They only get half of 10 meters. They've got 28.000.0 28.500. So that's all they have, 28.0 to 28.5. And that's where all the activity is. Probably because of that. But yeah, signals are probably going to start dropping now. There's only about a half-hour window. For various parts of the world, we get a half-hour window to Australia. We get a half-hour window to you guys. Now, I can hear Australia for 3 or 4 hours. I can hear you guys for 5 hours. But there's usually just like a half-hour window where everybody can hear everybody. The mobile, the dipole, the vertical. Half-hour window. It's a little bit different every day. It showed up a little bit late today. I thought for sure 1 hour ago your signal would really pick up. It didn't happen. It did happen for another 20 minutes. So it's really late today. And now we're in a period of time where signals are going to start nosediving. yet this path between you and I can still be good for another hour. So there's the rundown on the tech class here in the States where they can but I'm wondering, the headphones, have you discovered how much better this rig is with a pair of headphones, Mark? M0JCF from N8EHP.
Yeah, N80HPM0JCF. Well, I'm not using headphones, David. I'm using an external speaker, which I've tailored to give me, you know, the sound that's good for my ears. So I'm not actually using headphones. I found that I used to use headphones, and in the end, after several hours worth of amateur radio, I'd find my ears after that session would be ringing quite a bit, and I just saw, you know, tinnitus knocking on the door of my brain. So I decided to stop using headphones. Now, I do use them if the conditions are particularly difficult. I will use headphones, but I tend to use speakers that are like the right size. They've got the right size box. They give me the correct response for my old man's ears. You know, I've got ears that don't work as well as they should do. I was many years of racing motorcycles, and prior to that, when I was younger, I was in many rock bands, punk bands, that sort of thing. I was a bass guitarist, and so you know, everything had to be turned up to 11. Everything was always louder than it should be. So, you know, I tend not to use the headphones so much now, but through the speaker that I've got, absolutely no problems. You know, I say I can hear you very well. You're still running around 5 and 1, and then up to 5 and 6, and then back down again. So that's the story. I've just been checking on the map as well. I see the grey line is now over Eastern and Central Europe. So the grey line is now crossing Germany towards the Netherlands. So we're about an hour away from the grey line across the UK. And then as the grey line goes over the Atlantic, I normally find that, you know, propagation is quite good to the west. And because then the east is all in darkness. You know, we lose a lot of the noise coming from the east. But I've had good signals today out of South Africa and places like that. You know, I always tend to get at this time of the day, South Africa coming up just before they go into darkness. Half of South Africa is on the grey line, and the other half of South Africa is now in darkness. So you know, the band is probably closing for them as well. So that's my take on it, and that's my idea. And thanks for the clarification on your tech. Yeah, I knew they couldn't go above 28.5. I wasn't sure about the lower end. So actually they can go below 28.4. Well, that's very good for me to know, because if I sit somewhere like 28, I don't know, 28.385 or somewhere like that, somewhere nobody is already talking, I find the band is very quiet in that segment. And it's good to know that your tech licenses can also use that area. It gives me more scope to receive, and of course it gives everyone more chance to work me in the UK, if that's what they want to do. November 8, Echo Hotel Papa, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Fox.
Mark, I have to thank you for the big capital T, capital H, capital A, capital N, capital K, Y-O-U. I was wondering why I just couldn't get rid of this tinnitus. And I actually suspected the headphones were the cause of that, but hearing it from you, you know, I believe you. I was suspecting it, but you verified what I was thinking. So, I just hooked up an old antique TS820 external speaker from old Kenwood, and made a few adjustments on the filter. You know, widened it, narrowed a little bit. I went to filter 2, widened it, narrowed it a little bit to bring out your best sound. Now sharp sounds better. Oh, wait a minute. Soft, like you. Soft sounds better. Now. So yeah, get in the clear. We're in the clear now. I still hear some splatter. Earlier, an hour ago, when I first thought I'd give you a call, but the guy in Texas, Austin, Texas, beat me to it. That's when I was going to give you a call, by the way. Texas beat me to it. The splatter down where you were at was unbelievable. Unbelievable. And this frequency was just silent. Absolutely. Three kilocycles is the industry standard. To literally get away from somebody. Even cause a lot of scratching. My signal, when I'm 20 over 9, anywhere, when the propagation's at good or about 40 meters or 20 over 9 signals are common, with 100 watts, wherever this 7300 shows up, 20 over 9 or stronger, with the amplifier on, I'm 6 kcs wide. Yes, 6 kcs wide. So anybody 3 kcs down is hearing me. Anybody 3 kcs up is hearing me. If I'm 40 over 9, I'm actually being heard 12 kcs wide. What's the problem with receivers? Receivers can't deal with 30 or 40 over 9 signals 3 kcs away. It just swamps the receiver. So, 2 kcs.
And they sound awful. That's the thing. I don't know if the amplifiers are just non-linear or what, but they just sound terrible. Anyway, while I was listening to you, my wife has actually sent me a WhatsApp message. I know you don't use computers, but she sent me a message to say that my dinner's ready. I've noticed it's now gone 6 p.m. and it's a real shame because you've got such a good signal. It's been such a good ragchew, David, and it's been lovely to experiment as well, and talk filters, etc., and even help you out with the tinnitus. Yeah, just get rid of those headphones unless you really need them. I can't do it. I cannot do headphones anymore without good reason. But no, she just told me that dinner's not quite ready. It's about ready. So seeing the time, I've got to get out of here, and it's a real shame because I was having such a lot of fun. But you'll always find me CQing, David, on 10 metres and 12 metres. 12 metres generally before 4 p.m. unless whoever switches on whatever they switch on at 4 p.m. so long as they don't switch it on, or if your signal is good and strong, then you can get above the Santiago 2 to 3 noise floor that they create. I don't tend to complain to neighbours or anyone like that. I don't want to bring big attention to myself, my antenna system, etc. And I really, after we've been in this house, I think 23 years, there is no need to suddenly fall out with the neighbours over a hobby. So I move around to accommodate both of them and myself. But yeah, I've got to go QRT. I'll leave the frequency to you, and maybe you'd like to call out or maybe go searching for someone else. But yeah, I've got to go and have my dinner, and otherwise I'll be hanging from one of those antennas. So lovely speaking to you, very good technical chat, really did enjoy it. But as I say, all good things have to come to an end, but we can always do it another day. I say I'm always around, and I do admire your persistence and patience as well to wait around until I'd finished with D-Roy down there in Austin. And it's always nice when somebody tells me that they wanted me in the logbook and they wanted to have a chat. So there you go. Anyway, I tend to ramble when saying goodbye, so I'm going to wish you best 73, David. Thank you again. And as I say, I got distracted right at the end of your last over with my wife sending me a message that I had to respond to. Otherwise she'll think that I'm ignoring her, and of course now I'm coughing, so I probably could do with a nice cold drink as well. So I wish you and everyone around you, loved ones, friends and family, I wish you all 73. Look for me again, come and say hello. We'll carry on where we've left off, and we'll see if your ears are ringing after me bending them so much this afternoon. And on that note, I'll hand it back to you for our final, David, and I'll say goodbye and thank you to anyone who might be listening on the side waiting for me, but I've got to go. November 8, Echo Hotel Papa. This is Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot.
Okay, Mark, next time we'll talk about music. Speaking of music, have your wife look at Britain's Got Talent on YouTube. Britain's Got Talent. Right off his face. You're not going to like this. Your wife will like it. You won't like it. I know you can remember Britain's Got Talent. I know you know where YouTube is. Write this name down, Jackie. I'll give you a moment to write down Jackie. Of course, you have a keyboard there. You probably won't even own an ink pen. Gift to your wife for cooking a good dinner for you. and not ripping you away before we finish. So this is what you're going to Jackie written down. The last name of this singer. No kidding. You won't like Britain's Got Talent, I guarantee it. But there's a song that this girl does live on stage, and it's simply the name is Lovers. Lovers. Your wife will probably like the lyrics in the tune. You may not like it, but yeah, this is for your wife, Mark. Something I just discovered on YouTube here 6 months ago. Brand new. I know you were in some band and stuff like that. You know, you're more the blondie, over.
Yeah, really sorry, David. Your signal has now dropped to the floor, believe it or not. I know you asked me to write down some notes, Jackie being one of them, but I missed probably 50% of what you were saying. And then you sort of asked me a question at the end. And to be very honest, I didn't hear the complete question. Back to you.
Well, let's see if we get Jackie's last name. We'll try our best. Maybe you can copy this, maybe you can as you're running off. Jackie's last name, her last name is Evan, Echo Victor, Alpha Norway, Charlie Hotel Oscar. Yeah, Charlie Hotel Oscar. Believe it or not, you type in Britain's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent, with her name, Jackie Evan. All you need is Jackie Evan. Britain's Got Talent, Jackie Evan. And YouTube will give you the rest of her last name. Evan, Charlie Hotel Oscar, Evan Show. That time, Mark.
Got it, and I've got her up on Google, Jackie Evans Show. I've got her, and I see it, the source photographs from USA Today, an American singer, and I see gained wide recognition at an early age, singing primarily classical crossover covers. There you go. I've got the right person, old chap. But yeah, I will look her up later. I can see her. She's got quite a few YouTube videos there. So I will clock her later, but not right at this moment. As I say, I'll be multitasking and not hearing anything that you said. Your signal come off the floor back up to a Santiago 5. So I was really pleased that happened at that point. David, back to you.
Yeah, this is a gift to your wife. It's a gift to your wife. The singer, your wife is really going to appreciate it. Look for the singer on Britain's Got Talent. On YouTube, singer. It's for your wife. And after your wife, for this amazing singer, for you, look for a song by the name of Lovers. You know, London, Ontario, Victor, Echo Radio Sierra, Lovers. Look for the one live on stage with a bunch of Chinese people, and make sure you have a lot of bass and have it cranked up. Over.
Yeah, most certainly will. Bass is all I hear these days. Since my ears don't hear anything above 9 kilohertz, probably 8 kilohertz actually. Yeah, I need as much bass as I can to get any semblance of music from any device nowadays. Yeah, I'll do that. I really look forward to that. And just in case you ever do go to YouTube, I know you don't use computers or anything, but I have recorded the best part of this this QSO with you, David, and my YouTube channel is called M0JCF Ham Radio. Quite easy to remember. It's my call sign with ham radio. And what I'll do is I'll get our long ragchew posted up there later on, possibly tomorrow, and you can see and hear what you sound like on an IC-7300 in the southeast of England. You know, it may not be for you, but if you get the chance, you know, just have a look and a listen. But I'll be sure to get my wife to check out that young lady, and yeah, I'm sure she'll be very pleased. Well, I must go now anyway, otherwise she'll be coming up into the attic to find me and to tell me that my dinner's in the dog. So I'm going to wish you 73, David, an absolute pleasure and a ball to speak to you. I mean, we've been talking, you called me at 17:38, and we're now going QRT at 18:20. So, you know, 45-minute ragchew. It doesn't happen often, but when they do, it's absolutely fantastic. It beats 5 and 9 73 any day. And you know, hello next. When you have a ragchew like this, it's great. And as I say, the fact that you waited for me to finish with D-Roy, absolute pleasure and a privilege. Okay, there, I'll say 73 and I'll say goodbye, and wish you a very good afternoon, good evening, and look forward to the next time. Bye bye, old friend, and good luck. N8EHP M0JCF.
One quick question, Bert. Did you talk Britain's Got Talent for the singer, over?
No, I haven't yet, but I'm not a big fan of those TV shows, so they tend to pass me by. But I will look for this singer. I will look for Britain's Got Talent as well. It's something actually my wife and my daughters would probably watch, and they will probably say, oh yeah, we know all about that. So I'll get an education. But yeah, I've already made a note of that in my paper logbook, that she's in Britain's Got Talent as well. I see on, when I looked at Google, it was America's Got Talent. So yeah, I'm sure that we'll find it together, and we'll see what you were talking about. Can I wish you good luck, old friend, and thank you again. N8EHP M0JCF. Cheers.
Yeah, that's the video you look at. Britain's Got Talent with her name. Her name with Britain's Got Talent. That's the first one. And then Lovers is the second. And if you like it yourself, well, there's a whole bunch more to look at. Okay, Mark 73 will do it again, I'm sure. Mike Zero, Japan, Charlie Foxtrot, about 15 miles south of London, England. From Norway 8, extra horsepower, Detroit, Michigan, will be standing by. Cheers and beers.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Goodbye for now. Mike Zero, Juliet, Charlie Foxtrot is now QRT. Frequency clear for use by N8EHP. Bye-bye, everyone.